Greetings, petrolheads. Welcome back to Automation, the car company. It's economical. This is episode number 300. I don't have anything special planned for this episode. Maybe at like 500 or so. We'll see. So I'm just gonna continue with the Athena campaign, and it's gonna continue with the UL6. Yes, a new big SUV. And we have an AHS steel monocoque, non-traditional engine placement, McPherson's up front, multi-link rear, aluminum panels, nothing necessarily that new. We get some new headlights, of course, and a new bumper, new taillights, new exhaust pipes, makes it kind of look like a Cayenne. And of course this is, as always, all-wheel drive, permanent all-wheel drive. And under the bonnet we have a V12. Again, because the new Athena is just, you know, not messing around with like eco 4-cylinder models or anything like that. So we gotta give, we want to give our customers, you know, the best of the best, and a V12 is just a fantastic engine configuration, especially with twin turbo. You get so much torque, slightly less than what you get in the SL8, but like who would complain about that? Like it still makes a lot of torque and power, even though it's not quite as strong as the configuration used in the SL. The boost comes in a little bit earlier than in the SL, which is useful, I think, in an SUV. Direct injection, of course, pretty lean fuel mixture, and the RPM limit is now also 6,000 rather than 6,500, but we are also making a peak power a lot sooner. And this is the first car in the Athena lineup to have a double clutch gearbox, because it's just smoother than a single clutch, and it'll just give us a few advantages there. Actually only increases comfort by 0.1, but it's still something. And now obviously the car doesn't come on off-road tires as standard from the factory, but you will get a set of off-road tires along with the car when you purchase it. Normally it would be running on, like, I mean, for the road, why not put sports tires on there, right? The Cayenne Turbo S also came on sports tires, if I'm not mistaken, or comes, because this actually is the wait, why is the engine year 2012? Should be 2011. Okay. It's 551. There we go. Okay, 550. Yeah. What was I talking about? Yeah, tires. This is obviously a rival to the second generation Porsche Cayenne, because the first generation went out of production in 2010, so in 2011 there was already the second generation Cayenne. The second generation Cayenne Turbo S only came out in 2013 though, so at the point of this thing's introduction it doesn't really have any true rivals, maybe the BMW X5M, but apart from that, in this sort of performance class, it doesn't really have that many true rivals, because remember, this is now as we're speaking on off-road tires, okay? So on off-road tires, this will do 0 to 100 in 4 seconds flat, and a quarter mile in 12.5 seconds. Now I'd like to see another SUV that came from the factory that comes from the factory, like a stock SUV that was produced the way it is and does these sort of numbers on off-road tires. I'd like to see one of those cars. If we put it on sports tires and run it again, .4 seconds and 3.9 from 0 to 100 in a nearly 2,300 kilogram SUV. Well, that's truly an incredible acceleration, I think, because like nobody would expect a car this big and this heavy to accelerate that quickly. This is just crazy. So what would this thing really compete with? BMW X5M, although, you know, that's not really usable off-road. A Range Rover Sport supercharged, it's not quite as fast. Although in terms of top speed, the Cayenne is better. But that is mainly because we've used a lot of cooling airflow here. A lot more than we would actually need. So if we go down to what is required, that's still 260. That's still not that good. But I'm gonna keep it higher because that makes for better reliability. You can take this thing to like Dubai or somewhere in the Sahara and the engine won't overheat, and it'll be really good off-road. Doesn't matter, like 255 kilometers an hour top speed is faster than most cars anyway, because a lot of cars are limited to 250 from the factory, and this goes faster than that. So, you know, mission accomplished. But you know, how many times are we really gonna have the opportunity to drive that fast? Like top speed is just a theoretical value that, especially in an SUV where the bad drag coefficient will really hold it back in speeds over like 200 or so, you're not going to be going faster than that a lot of the time. You're gonna oftentimes even struggle to get to 200 kilometers an hour depending on what SUV we're talking about. In some of them it's quite easy, but in most of them it's near impossible. You saw that even in fourth gear already, like from 150 or so onwards, the acceleration just decreased quite significantly. Like it didn't pull as hard anymore, like from 150 onwards, and that's with a 550 horsepower twin turbo V12. So that says a lot about how SUVs in general work, I guess. and about how important aerodynamics are if you want to go fast. So, are we gonna make a... No, I don't think we need to make a less powerful, a smaller version of this, because AMW is also offering SUVs, and this is supposed to be like the top of the line. Like, there's no point in making a less expensive, a weaker one, because then it wouldn't be top notch anymore. This price is obviously not where it's gonna be placed. More like here, 89,000. Does really well in utility sport luxury still, and in luxury premium, convertible luxury for some reason. GT premium, yeah. I guess overall, I mean, obviously the looks are probably not to everyone's liking, but that you can say that about pretty much any SUV, and maybe except for the Range Rover. But I think this has a pretty good shot at really taking the crown away from the Cayenne Turbo S, excuse me, or the BMW X5M, because it is just so quick off the line, and it is the most prestigious one of the bunch. It will have a handmade interior, which, you know, is a thing that no other SUV had in 2011. Now the Bentley Bentayga, that's starting production or has just started production, that has a handmade interior, but apart from that, you don't get that anywhere else. And on top of all this, it is still really good off-road. As you see here, on off-road tires it's 55.3. That's pretty much as good as it's gonna get on a modern SUV which doesn't have a solid rear axle. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Automation. Leave a like or a comment if you did. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.